Welcome back, everybody. Matt in the back here. Hope you're doing well. So I got to go see an early screening this weekend of Gran Turismo. This is the new Neill Blomkamp movie. Neill Blomkamp is known for movies like District 9, Elysium, and Chappie. Now, all three of those are sci-fi movies. Also, the last two of those movies were not good. The only real good movie he's had is District 9 in 2009. Yeah, you know, that was timing, as they say. He was supposed to go on and do an Alien 5 in the Alien franchise. It was going to be a true sequel to Aliens, the James Cameron film, that was going to bring back Newt and Hicks, and they would be older. But that never happened. Ridley Scott decided to go and do Alien Covenant instead. So now he has a new movie out. This is not a sci-fi film. It is a race car film based on a true story, underdog story, sports film, and let's get into it. Positives. For David Harbour is excellent in here. He's like the mentor of all these racers, but specifically the main character in this movie. He brings a lot of different range, from funny at times, emotional at times, very serious at times, but also heartwarming at times. And his relationship with the main character is great. They have that bonding experience, that real, what would you call it? Mentor and apprentice, if you will. Using a Star Wars reference. Rocky Balboa and Mickey, if you want to go a little bit in terms of the sports, Rocky, boxing, parallel there. But David Harbour is just excellent. He really is the MVP of this movie. The main actor, Archie Manawi, sorry, I'm butchering that last name. I've never seen him in a movie before, but I thought he did a really good job as the main driver, lead of the film. I think either going up against David Harbour, Orlando Bloom, and his father, played by Djimoun Honsou. I thought he did a really good job. He had a lot of range in the film. He can be funny. He can be very emotional. He can even be a little bit romantic at times. Like I said, his relationship with David Harbour is really the meat of this story. So I think for a first-time actor, he pulled it off. And then we get to Djimoun Honsou, who plays the father. He's not in the movie that much, but once again, this is Djimoun Honsou, Academy Award nominated actor for movies like Armistead, Blood Diamond, and he wasn't nominated but he was in Gladiator. Now We Are Free. And he's not in this movie that much. But when he is in this movie, you can just tell the level of an actor he is. That just experience, that Oscar-winning acting is shown so well. And the thing is, he doesn't have to say that much, and he conveys everything. And he really, like I said, in terms of just acting, he does a great job. Racing sequences, they were intense at times. They were thrilling at so many other times. They were exhilarating, suspenseful, And I also thought creative. This movie is based on a true story of a kid who played the game Gran Turismo, and he gets picked to race real race cars. And the way that Neill Blomkamp does some creative ideas on the track, and then goes back to like the game console, then back to the race car, and all this different maneuvering, and using CGI to go back and forth. Well, you might think, oh, the CGI doesn't look good, but then you realize, no, this is meant to look like a video game, like the look of a video game at times. And it really was an interesting and creative way to do the racing sequences. Especially, like I said, a director who's only done sci-fi movies. To do a movie like this is really shown what else he can do as a director. Orlando Bloom, yes, Orlando Bloom. He hasn't bloomed lately. Once again, Orlando Bloom looks to be the guy who, the new hot guy on the market. The pretty boy. Back in the day with Lord of the Rings and the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. And then he also had like Troy, Elizabethtown. I mean, Orlando Bloom used to bloom all the time, no matter what season. But then all of a sudden, after Pirates of the Caribbean and that Lord of the Rings trilogy, he wasn't blooming no more. No bloom. Then he went on to do some more Hobbit movies, even though Legolas is not in the Hobbit. Then he returned from Pirates, the last Pirates movie. He was in a couple scenes. And once again, Orlando, where are you? Oh, yes. He's with Katy Perry. Now we know what you're doing. Good for you. And I like Orlando Bloom in this movie. He's starting to show his age. More than Tom Cruise. Very interesting. And he's also a lot younger than Tom Cruise. Even more interesting. Him and Josh Hartnett this summer. They used to be the pretty boys. I mean, they still look good, but you can start to see the aging already. But anyway, enough of the funny. I like Orlando Bloom in this movie. He actually has a very complex character. Very multi-layered, and I like that. He's the character that actually started up this idea of bringing video game racers into the real world of racing. Then you think, oh man, this guy's a good guy, but then you see throughout the movie, he's an interesting little fella. He's a very complex character. I'm not gonna give away anything, but I thought his character was very interesting. And I thought Orlando Bloom really played the character very well. I will say this before getting into my negatives. This is an underdog story. Meaning, this movie does have almost every cliche in the book. Like a romantic comedy. When you go into a romantic comedy, you know what to expect. This is almost the same thing. You got the classic underdog story. We've seen in Rocky. We've seen in any sports movie, practically. Rocky, or you got the misfit. Number 2, you got the misfit that doesn't belong. Like Rocky Balboa. Like, you don't belong here. We've been doing this forever. You get a chance at the title. And what are you doing here? Or Jimmy Morris in The Rookie. You're a 40-year-old science teacher. You have no business playing for the Professional Baseball League. you know, get out of here. We've been doing this all our lives. You just got the opportunity to do it. It also has the classic father-son dynamic. Father doesn't believe what his son is wasting his time. There is no future. You need to think about your future. Get a real job. Stop doing the bullshit video game shit. The son dynamic, like in October Sky, Homer Hickam. Homer, not Warner Von Braun and the, Cape Canaveral. Yeah, that scene in the college professor comes. And what do you do, son? Oh, Homer here? He shoots rockets, in space. Well, college, rocket ain't my thing, boy. Have you ever thought about playing football? I'm gonna build a rocket. And then the mother, yes, no, blow yourself up. Anyway, and guess what? We know these stories, like Homer Hickam. Nobody lives in a small town. Nobody knows who he is. I'm gonna race cars one day. Okay, good for you. Just like Homer Hickam. I'm gonna shoot a rocket. He works for NASA now. And you got the whole, and then of course you got the mentor and the apprentice, the Mickey and the Balboa, with David Harbour and the main lead. But for negative, for me, my main negative is there are certain scenes in this movie that I could easily say you can take out of the movie. You have the scene at the beginning with them, outrunning a police officer, and it's like, do we really need that scene? You learn why later on in the movie, why that was important, but at the end of the day, does it really change the plot? No. Then there's another scene with him and this girl, they go out on a date kind of thing, go around town, go to a restaurant, go to a nightclub, and you're like, okay, I understand you want to build that other relationship he has. No, when she's later on in the movie, when she's supportive and all that, you don't want to be like, who is this chick? What is she doing here? But, no, in a way I say, you could have taken those scenes out and maybe made the movie only a 2-hour movie instead of a 2-hour and 15-minute movie. But then there's part of me that's like, you should also use them in there, It was kind of like, you don't need them, but you kind of do. But that's for you to decide. And the last thing is, I think Djimoun Honsou, he plays the father. He's in like the first 15, 20 minutes, and then literally we don't see him for, I would say, almost an hour and a half later. Or at least an hour and 10 minutes later. To the point he comes back on screen, I'm like, oh yeah, we have that father-son dynamic, complexity. Oh, now we're gonna, come back to that now. Yes, the end result of that works great, but I thought we were missing, like, that middle part that we could have at least gone back to while the son was training and racing cars. We could have gone back to the father, see what he's doing. Is he following his son? Is he really paying any attention? What is he doing? And so I thought we missed like an hour or longer of no Djimoun Honsou. Overall, though, I would give this movie like a 4.3 out of 5. I think it's a solid movie if you like race car movies, like Ford v Ferrari, Rush, the more serious movies. I think this is a good film. I think Neill Blomkamp did a great job behind the camera, especially stepping away from sci-fi for the first time. I think the main lead did a great job. I think David Harbour is the MVP of this movie. overall, if you're looking for a fun, enjoyable, exciting, and exhilarating underdog story, and you like sports movies, this is a good one. And this movie comes out on August 25th. Like I said, I got to see this early. So on August 25th, I highly recommend go see Gran Turismo. You won't be disappointed. Well, let me know, have you seen this movie yet? And when you do see it, come back here, watch the review, subscribe, and let me know what you thought. Matt the Man here.